your choice of an apple or raspberry and custard pie for just $4.
You've had too much. Welcome back.
Oh, Lemsip.
Lemsip.
Ah, gotcha.
Too much Lemsip.
No, I've waited 4 hours. That's the minimum recommended time.
Was that one of those games where you feel like you've watched it, but you don't really understand what's going on for a lot of the time?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Could be one.
I feel like unlearned League of Legends player, maybe.
Yeah.
Nick.
Someone with a keen eye like us.
You literally turned to me halfway through the thing and went, I don't know what's happening right now.
That's not true.
It's totally true.
That's not true at all.
That's totally
You're
true.
just making stuff up on camera because you're the host.
Oh, called out.
Yeah.
All right. I can't compete with you and your done-up button. All right.
No, but it was very strange. The reason it was strange is because that was a Spell Thief's bottom lane. And we don't get to see them all too often. But they don't fight for prio bottom lane. They just trade really, really heavily. And then, you know, we saw some jungle pressure down there, try to punish that play style. But ultimately, if you don't smash a Spell Thief's lane, then it's still just a Spell Thief's lane. And as soon as that Rift Herald happened and, you know, a couple of kills went across, upgrade onto the Sightstone, GG. Like, that one, another one of those, I call, these inevitable games just keep happening. Like, you know, with the Vladimir... With the, you know, this time around with the Azir and the Aatrox, it's just like, as soon as one thing goes wrong, you're like, well, that comp scales so much better than the other comp. Like, how does anyone hit Azir on that comp? I don't know. I don't think they knew because they kept going for these weird flanks and they kept failing, right? So it's just like, it's so hard to be able to execute against these top players playing these hard scaling control mages.
And it's also kind of like obviously, like the quantity of the swing. Like that Rift Herald swing is huge. And then they just like bash it immediately, drop that one in the game, just goes from like, oh, this is close. Like, you know what I mean? They're attacking bot lane a bunch. And then it's just like, boom. Okay.
Well, Gravitas were winning up until that point. They had an Infernal Dragon. They started the Rift Herald. They nearly got the pick onto Wilder in the top lane.
Yeah, to flash away.
We need a name for that brush.
Tri-Bosh.
Yeah, top lane Tri-Brush. But yeah, that was a good game from Gravitas until it wasn't.
Yeah. And it has ended in this weird situation where Rusty was kind of alluding to on the desk, where What?
Oh, no, I'm agreeing. That, barely
Dire Wolves are like got to win, and then everybody else are just like, all right, sick. Like, we're just doing it again.
Chilling.
Yeah, everybody's just chilling. Like, you know what I mean? AV, Gravitas now order all lots. So there was potential for like this four-way tie in the middle that is becoming less and less with Dire Wolves. I almost say Dire Cubs.
It's a compliment now because they're the winners.
That's true.
Yeah, okay.
They need to live up to the Cubs.
Yeah, true. They need Biopanther to raise.
Because there's nothing worse than disappointing your own son.
That's very true. Yeah, and it's very true that like you and I and the Direwolves, the Cubs, the Suns have already outshone the Peppers.
But yeah, right, because it's like the other three. Now there's like this three-way tie scenario. The Dire Cubs, Dire Wolves are just zooming their way out of.
Yeah, so Dire Wolves are in, is what Bryce is trying to say.
Not technically. Right,
but I'm pretty sure not two teams can catch them, so they're in.
Yeah, okay,
they're all yeah. So like that's good news for them. I wanted to bring it up last segment, but I low key, even though obviously want to see Order in the final, kind of want to see a Dire Wolves versus Chiefs final as well.
That's what I've been saying.
Because they need to break that somehow. Like I think they've won 4 each. And it would feel not right if Chiefs broke it by beating a Mammoth or a Bombers or something like that. I feel like they would want
like
to...
a year-wide head-to-head.
Yeah, they would want to beat the Direwolves to reclaim their glory as a top Oceanic League of Legends team of all time.
Yeah,
I feel like that's what they want to do.
Yeah, it's like Chiefs for years, then it's Direwolves for years, and then like Bombers get a win, and it's like, you know what I mean? If they're not, yeah, okay, you want to see the rivalry
So
back
I want to
in
see that happen. So, or the other thing that would be really cool is if Bombers somehow got back in there. Because I'm also stoked about... I'm a big fan of this Bombers lineup now. If you can do stuff like that, like Tahm Kench, Victor bottom lane, you can't pick on that lane. That lane's unpick-honorable.
And their top side,
their top side is so damn good at the game. So yeah, I'm really interested with this top of the ladder.
And I think like I've now said it a couple of weeks in a row for Bombers, but like we mentioned like every single week, it's like yes, Ryoma is really good, Mimic is really good, but like there was that one team fight I thought like Luch just below Baron above mid lane, like he gets devoured out of like a weird situation, and I was looking at that like Rogue, like you just like ate him into a Cataclysm, but then it's like this clutch stopwatch to like dodge 3 abilities and an Akali R that would have like one hit the backline. Like these are players individually all stepping up, and that's why you're seeing such dominant wins.
I'm starting to think like Lucha's got a pretty big brain as well.
Yeah.
When I used to watch him play, like he seemed to get like frustrated a little bit.
He
It's
was like had one thing, and if it didn't
Yeah.
go well, it's like okay, like
and he
bad
was
luck, I
kind of
guess.
stubborn as a player as well. But I think that the time off did him like a world of good. I've spoken to him a little bit more around as well. Seems to be like a fairly mature guy now as well. And like I watch him do things, and I'm like, I understand why you're doing this. This is like a good play to make, and I think like he makes very logical, like well thought out decisions, and like a couple of big brain moments, like the one you're talking about. Like that could have been an eat, but like in the end, it turns into like a winning team fight, like situation because of how he played it.
Good on you. I didn't have anything else to add there. I was just like,
This
yeah,
is what
he's a
an
good boy.
engaged host looks like, ladies and gentlemen.
just
Remember that
saying,
time,
Luke's
like
a good
3
boy.
seconds ago, he was blatantly lying to the entire viewer base? Yeah, we all remember.
I recorded that conversation. I'm going to play it back. All right, moving on now. Bianca writes in, I've recently had an ACL reconstruction, and I can't walk around much. I'm interested in what you can suggest to quickly heal my knee. It's a 9-month recovery, but I'm sure you guys can totally cut this time in half.
agree, yeah.
If you have any good alternatives to League of Legends, reading books, and Netflix, since I can't play sport or head to the gym.
Well, you can still head to the gym. That's a quitter's mentality.
Yeah,
You
just
can't do lower body exercises
lift
at the
things.
gym.
No squats.
Yeah.
You could
Just
do.
all bench.
You could if you have 2 cars, you could put a ladder between 2 cars, drive that to the gym, and you sort of monkey bar your way back and forth, and then swing your way into the gym and just do all arms day.
What?
Just
Oh, like
monkey your way home.
parallel.
Yeah.
When you
yeah.
said ladder on 2 cars, I'm thinking like facing off each other. Well, before you said the ladder, I was like, this is some knee reconstructive
Yep.
exercise where you're just doing the splits on 2 cars. that are
Yeah,
like-
and they slowly drive apart, and you just
And
lower
I'm
and
just
lower.
like,
I think
this
I have
is-
That'll help that sore
This
knee.
is really
I
weird.
have some next level advice, I reckon.
I hope so, because
How long do you think-
your relationship?
Yeah, it hinges on this.
Yeah.
But how long do you think it takes you to learn to walk with a prosthetic?
Oh,
just
like if
buy Rusty's leg.
Because I'm saying, just get rid of the knee.
It's a
It's a
hindrance
faulty
at this
knee
point.
anyway.
Yeah, okay.
Like, why rebuild something? Just buy a new one.
Okay, that's interesting. So Bianca's saying it's 9 months.
Yeah, I
Do you
reckon you could learn.
to-
Yeah, 4.5 to learn to walk with a prosthetic.
How
Write that down.
long
Yeah. Oh, we're Googling instead.
does it take
Is
to
molding
learn
clay
to walk
edible?
with a prosthetic leg? There you go.
What do we got?
And the answer
What's
is
Jeeves say?
the timing depends on how quickly your residual limb fully heals from surgery.
Oh.
Some individuals receive a temporary prosthesis immediately following amputation, or within 2 to 3 weeks after surgery. Usually a prosthetic fitting begins 2 to 6 months after surgery.
That's
so you
fine.
can't even get it fitted until potentially 6 months after.
But 2 months.
yeah,
So
it could be 2 months.
obviously
So let's
quick
go
healer.
like best case scenario.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So then I'm trying to find out now how much will it cost? Do I need to pay for it? What is a K level? When will I get my leg? None of this is helpful for me. I just want to know.
Rusty's been on this website.
$7 on Wish. $7 easy leg.
It says here it comes with a free mesh stocking for men. Is it difficult to learn to use the prosthesis? Yes. Take care of it. None of this is actually giving me information about how long. Is chat being helpful? Squat on your other leg. Walk on your hands. Bryce has a titanium lung. He's a Cyberman. None of this is actually helpful. Come on, Google.
I love how you were going from Googling about the leg. Is Twitch chat helpful? 9 irrelevant comments. No. Back to Google.
So I'm gonna say let's say 7 months. I give it 7 months.
We could shave 2 months off.
Wait, what was our technique? Just get
Cut
a
off your
prosthetic?
leg and get a prosthetic.
Yeah, okay, sure. Personally, big fan of rehabilitating broken organs.
Yeah.
It's
And
gone-
me is not an organ. And Cologne is not. Germany is not a city.
Yeah, it's not. We all know that.
That's such an
in joke.
That's such an inside boom. Like your lung. Okay.
As you can tell, we're having way too much fun upstairs.
Please.
where these get-
I see more. No, that's the fitting.
Next
3 times
question.
per day.
Next question.
You'll have this leg for at least 3 months, so 2 to 3 months of rehabilitation with the prosthetic leg is to return to your prior level of walking. So 2 to 3 months of rehabilitation could get you to your prior level of walking.
That sounds good.
I didn't know.
So I think we've got an answer. We've shaved it in half, and not just the time, but your leg. And now you've got some sort of super leg you could attach interesting things to.
We should name the levels of walking. How many are there, and what are they called? I didn't know it was a scale. I was like, you can walk, you can't walk. But
Wait.
Well, no, trust me,
you
there
said
is
prior,
a
prior
level, of walking.
Right, okay.
That implies
So there's not walking, which is also what we in the television business call standing still. Then there's walking.
yeah,
There's power walking.
yeah. What about like a hobble, like a
That's limping, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, like that. Surely that's on the lower
Shuffling
end of
is
the spectrum.
before walking,
Yeah.
walking as well.
Yeah,
Trust me,
okay.
I know that.
Shuffling, shuffling, I would say, is before hobbling.
What about a skip? Is a
Hobbling
skip like
implies shuffling is like you. Shuffling to me is not lifting your feet.
Correct.
Hobbling is trying to lift, but you've got soreness.
A weird
or,
gait.
Yeah. You've got a 9-month recovery time.
Skipping?
To yeah. Well, is skipping.
that running?
That's above.
Is this like a rectangle? Is
No.
this like square? Well, you know what I mean. Like a square's a rectangle, but
No,
rectangle's
like I
not a
think we're saying
square.
you're skipping on the walking scale.
that's what I
or
mean.
Is that
Like,
on
is
the
it?
running
That's
scale?
that's what I mean. Like,
Okay,
is it
right,
is it
yeah,
is it
yeah.
in the same?
Yeah.
is
So
one
it
of
goes
those
walking,
things?
power walking, skipping, running.
And hobbling.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
hobbling is
So-
underneath.
Yeah.
Underneath.
So it goes.
I just wanted in the.
stationary.
I just wanted to be in the conversation.
Okay, so it's stationary, shuffling, hobbling,
Hobbling,
walking,
walking,
power walking,
Wait.
skipping, running.
sprinting.
Shuffling is above. No, is below hobbling.
Yeah,
you shuffle,
because-
then you hobble.
Yeah,
Because
trust
shuffle
me.
doesn't lift the feet.
Jasper
and I think the
shuffled
walking
when he
is
first
an
started to
inherent
walk.
part of.
Oh yeah.
Because you can't pick your feet up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
And I don't mean shuffling like Sven screwing on the ice. I mean shuffling like as in like an old man.
I got a bunch of shuffle pants and Rusty's tail, just
Yeah.
shuffling along at your local rave.
Okay, I think we've sorted that. So we've understood the different types of walking.
Yeah.
We've suggested to the person who's just recovering from a serious ACL reconstruction that was probably incredibly painful and time-consuming. Just get rid of it.
What a successful segment!
I feel like we did it. So now
Hey!
it's time for the next game. We are heading into Order versus Chiefs.
Oh, are we?
Yeah.
This is well, look. Speaking of hobbling,
There's
this
a
is
little
big one
bead
for Order.
of sweat on his nose and his glasses. You can see his.
Are you ready?
I don't have to be ready. I damn well hope the players are, because this is the last chance for Order. If they do not win this, it is a very ugly scenario to force some strange three-way tie. They need to hope that they beat Avant. Avant haven't won any other games, and that Gravitas have either not won any other games or
Yeah.
have only beaten Legacy. And all these scenarios are starting to get a little bit stressful. So I just think that pick up the bloody win.
Yep.
Just move on with your lives.
Yeah, because head-to-head scenarios not looking good from the boys from Melbourne there versus the teams they're competing
Thanks,
against. And
Captain Obvious.
yeah, it's going to be a bit of a roughie. Chiefs, I mean, they're putting in Swiper. He's on the screen right now. Tien didn't play. Tien is not playing. Tien played before. It was a shaky start. I'm just ignoring. We're moving on. Yeah, battle of the boys in blue and battle of the boys from Melbourne.
It is very exciting. That was very smooth. This is the Macca's Champ selection.
Just win. Just win. Just win. If you want to win in League of Legends, just win.
Just
it's a
win.
Spawn story.
Yep, Korean advice right there. And yeah, you've got to just win against the out-and-out first-place team, the Chiefs.
Yeah, just the first place team that are already going to MEO. And I have to imagine the type of team that, even though they are first place and locked, will not take it easy on any opponents. And, you know, the soft spot that Swiper has towards members of Order is not in the way of, like, I'm going to lose this game for you, boys. It's, I'm going to make you earn this win, boys. So we'll see how he goes. We'll see how Order goes in a must-win game, like mentioned.
Yeah, and also jumping off the bench as well, you know, like seeing that first game, like in Tien and top lane, you know, this is your chance as well to show what you've got in the top side of the map. And yeah, let's kick off the picks and bans for our 5th game of the day. Still feeling good? How are you feeling, Rusty?
I'm all right. The chicken's gone down the wrong way.
Chicken's got down the wrong way. I was going to say
Yeah.
my chicken was perfect. Thank you so much for the chicken. It's outstanding.
Just ask me how I am in 30 minutes and you'll really find out.
I will
We'll
say,
see.
nice having a slightly longer break. You know, back in the LPL, it's like, can I get an extra 30 seconds to sprint
You've
to the
got 3
bathroom?
minutes in cold McDonald's.
You got 15 extra seconds. Go. Yeah.
Oh, dear.
So that's a memory.
I repressed those, thank you.
I just brought them back up. Yeah. Will you take a seat over there, Rusty? We'll just lie down. Let's get to the bottom of this. Well, Order banning away the Azir and I've fallen over. Azir and Aatrox, and the Chiefs banning away the Yuumi and Corki.
Yeah, Zero and Corki going to be removed now, so limiting the mid lane blind pickable champion pool once again. It does tend to open the floor to things like Kiana, something that Swiffer has shown that he wants to play, and something that Claire has also conveniently shown that he plays today, and actually had a fantastic showing in the performance on Kiana against Legacy, I believe it was. In that first game, of course, a little bit of a mid-game whiffs here and there, caught out of position a couple times, but his early game laning phase was phenomenal.
And a direct ban here against Swiper will be that Rumble taken away. And another 17 seconds on the clock, looking towards this final ban as well towards Order.
You know,
Do they go towards the solo lanes, I wonder?
Rumble to me is actually one of the most like uniquely good bans, not just because Swiper plays it, but because Claire is an assassin aficionado. And it means that like you have to then play a magic damage jungler. You're almost forced in like the Gragas, the Elise, or Karthus then. And that does limit the options that you have. Rumble can just be picked. And then you can last pick your mid laner as a hard counter assassin if you wanted, right? And then it's just really hard to play blue side League of Legends against the Chiefs. So Rumble's a forced ban. Gangplank's an odd first pick here. They put a big priority towards it, and that to me is Tally throwing the gauntlet and saying, nothing you have counters me. I will survive.
And it's funny because he's facing down Swiper, who is the king of playing a weak side of the map.
How's Alawi do?
What, into Gangplank?
Yeah.
Not bad.
Not bad?
Not bad.
Is it good size?
One might say. Yeah, it's not a terrible matchup. I mean, Gangplank can play the minion wave, which makes it just really annoying and just gets like constant harass into the Alawi, but like all in potential is good. Obviously, like, oranges aren't as annoying as they are in, like, pretty much every single matchup ever, such as Mordekaiser being
so it's
orange,
pickable,
Mordekaiser
is what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Alawi is pickable. Well, the reason I bring that up is, of course, it's Swiper. It's not going to be the Alawi this time. It's going to be the Kennen, unfortunately.
For 80 carry, let's go.
And while we've got the Gragas locked in, Gragas Yasuo is a fantastic combo. One thing to note is that Ayla also plays the Gragas. So they are one of the few teams that will first pick this Gragas. They'll flex it if they want, if they need, and then they'll go for the rest of the composition in 4-5. Now, I'd expect an 80 carry to be seen from them here, something that could even go with the Gragas down against the Xayah Rakan, as that is locked in by Order. And honestly, big pickup for Order. They've got their Xayah, they've got their Rakan. Two of the signature picks for the bottom lane here of Dream and Jake.
And it will be a Kai'Sa lock-in here for the Chiefs. Yeah, I was talking about maybe it will be solo lane bans here towards Order, because obviously Swiffer in the game has picked up a lot of new champions for him as a very storied player recently. I've just been seeing like pepperings of like Twisted Fate bans come out, random like Zoe bans, this type of stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Chiefs have not taken anything really away from Order. That being said, did remove the Gragas by picking it. Obviously, we saw Yasuo come out a couple times here from Order as well. So taking away some of that setup.
But I think the key point here to look at is there are picks into Xayah Rakan that have been labeled as counters. You know, Kai'Sa Leona. Leona's one of those picks that can beat the Rakan, maybe not beat the duo. You've also got Volibear that has been notoriously pretty good into the Rakan, which is one of the first times we saw it in the LCK over in Korea. So they can still put the Gragas jungle with only, and you would expect that by going for their 80 carry pick, hiding the potential of Wicked Yasuo here, you would see a Yasuo ban. But we'll see where exactly Order choose to go with those bans, as, like you mentioned with Swiffer, has got a deep champion pool, has got counter picks available to almost anything. Yasuo may well be one of those things.
Yeah.
Though there isn't a whole lot that counters the Yasuo with the Gragas, besides something like a Vladimir in mid lane. That's a lot of scaling, actually, between solo laners.
Yeah, absolutely. Nautilus ban here towards the Chiefs, and it will be a Karma rounding out the ban here as well for the red side.
The Karma ban's interesting. I feel like that just indicates that we might see, I'm going to say even like a fourth pick Akali.
Yeah, right.
You know, Karma is one of the champions that could be played for Tally in the top lane, but he's already got the Gangplank locked in. The Aurelion Soul Hover is paying homage to Mr. Swiffer.
And Kindred was the final ban at only. Yeah, I mean, realistically, the Karma could have only really gone like mid or top, and most likely mid. How you doing, Swiffer?
Just waiting for what seems like Claire's lock-in here.
Yeah, what does he go towards? Locks in the Zoe. Okay. I mean, I have not seen a lot of Zoe apart from Swiffer this split, if I'm being honest.
Claire is one of the best Zoes that I've ever seen, though, in Oceanic League of Legends, I should say, very specifically.
Historically, yeah.
He's one of the people, you know, clutched at Rift Rivals last year, something that always been memorable to me, and just generally has the mechanics to keep up with some of the best. As we have the composition rounded out here by Order, they've gone for the Karthus. The Kiana, not a surprise, the Karthus with it because they needed magic damage. Gragas was already taken, and Elise was really the only other option that they had. Kiana Karthus, very potent when they both hit level 6. It's a really good comp, actually, from Order. When they have their big go buttons, they have their team fighting tools around objectives with Rakan and Kiana engage. Gangplank's area of control is always a big deal. We'll see how they get to execute that one. It's a support Gragas.
Support Gragas with Xin Zhao being locked in as the final pick for the Chiefs. Yeah, Carves into the jungle, and I believe we actually saw Swift pick up the Kiana earlier today as well. So this will be his second Kiana game of the day. Obviously didn't go so well against Mammoth earlier, and pretty rough day all in all, going up against the Chiefs as well. So number 1 and number 2. And it's only ramped up in difficulty.
And I think there's pretty clear expectations here that we can outline for both of these respective teams through the very early portions of the game, something that we'll get to see straight away. So first and foremost, you would expect that because Kiana is not the strongest level 1 champion, Zoe will have push. Because Gangplank isn't necessarily the strongest level 1 champion, we'll have to actually look at the Gangplank, because we've been seeing a lot of Keg start Gangplanks trying to control the wave more. But if Kennen gets control, Xin Zhao pretty handily beats Akathis around if they're in the same area as each other. A lot of topside focus here from the side of the Chiefs, a lot of potential for invades after a single camp clear. And it may be some aggression that we start to see from them that can leak around the rift and really put Spooks under the pump and pressure him out of the jungle completely. But that does start to turn around. You know, if Tally survives the laning phase because Swipe is helping only, gets a Sheen Spike, top lane's a different story. Swiffer hits level 3, completely unabated by his opponent. In Claire on the Zoe, can look for the all-ins. There's definitely a lot of strength that exists for Order at specific windows and timings. My only concern is how the game starts and how laning phase specifically starts.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Gragas will be a bit of a spanner in the works as well. Kai'Sa should do relatively well, but it is the Lovers duo to get it in the bottom lane as we get onto the Rift here for Order and the Chiefs for the second time today for both teams. This is their 2-game day. And we'll see if Order can do it, because obviously very important game for Order here, dropping their earlier game to Mammoth in the final stretch, moving towards that hopeful playoff run.
Yeah, desperation here for Order, needing the wins as fast as they possibly can. Still only 1 game behind AV. It's definitely within their grasp. They play AV tomorrow as well, so it could be the decider in that regard. But if you get the win here, Order, you are very much in the driver's seat to qualify.
Yeah.
Because then you only need to beat them and you just definitively go in anyway. And it's about winning the games that are in your own control. That's the name of the game right now with the first day of Super Week, is win what you can, because then you've done everything you can. You have no regrets coming into it. Going 0-3 is not an option for any of these teams, but it certainly isn't an easy week for Order, as they are peppering the jungle with Skittles.
Yeah, just checking out some lay wastes. It's not come up with anything. Gone fishing, but
no one's home.
no catch. So we'll start off with the red buff, getting a nice lead from the bottom lane as well. Carps will do pretty well here with that single target damage. Likewise on the opposite side of the map, Only is going to start off on his own red buff, as Swiper will move towards the top lane. Kind of double back for a second.
Yeah, Swiper leashes, so it doesn't have the most control
Restart.
available in top lane. Just as the map starts, he will be able to generate some of it soon, as Tally does appear to have gone for the Q start, as you can see there. So no E shenanigans, no wave control or push being forced. And I mean, first of all, that makes sense given that his jungler is on the opposite side of the map and was spotted with a ward. As no surprises here, Only will try and catch Karthus. Now, first things first, he'll try and catch him probably rotating from Krugs to Raptors. And will do so.
There it is, audacious charge. Finds the knock-up, goes into the brush, hits the E, but Spooks is just dead to right. Maybe can get some damage on the way out. Now has to go left to right and get the happy fit going, and Only does it. Finds first blood onto the enemy jungle.
And none of that should be surprising to the viewers as well. That's exactly what we said could happen. That's exactly what happens. They use their priority at level 1, but it's not on the top side jungle. They're even able to do it bottom side near the Raptors. It's level 1 vision. They find where Karthus starts. They don't let him jungle for free. Xin Zhao, fantastic pick into the Karthus. It was the last pick by the Chiefs.
Yep.
And continues to be fantastic in a one-on-one sense, because you can save your ultimate and Requiem can never kill you.
And now invading once again. Literally just saw him bottom side. Hits the blast cone. This time mid lane was there, but put to sleep by Claire. And Only just keeping up the pressure. Walks back in towards this. Still level 2. Dodging out the lane. Waste flash. Audacious charge. Looking for this knock-up. Managed to find it. Has the red buff still running. One more attack will do it. Secures the kill. Only smites the grunt for HP. Buying some time. Swiffer locked underneath the tower. And finished off. Double kill for Swiper.
And they're not on the right side of the rift here, the Chiefs, but they've got a Spell Thief's Ignite. They're looking for Tally as well. Trying to get the third kill. They're not going to find it. Disengage from Order, but a disastrous start in the jungle roll. And this is expected from Draft, but what are they able to do to stop this when it's being forced so heavy-handed by their opponents.
It is brutal. And Swiper, I mean, for one of the first games where actually the gold comes to him, now 2-0-0 in this laning phase, just comes out of lane just to react, was pushed up anyways. And that's going to be a great start for the Kennen player.
And that particular skirmish was what I expected from level 1 if that was where Spook started, right? That's a lot of priority as bot lane is fighting. Ignite's actually used.
Yeah, Ignite's on. Raze is backing this one up. We'll take another auto attack out from Dream, though he now backs away. And Ayla was quite literally body blocking. However, Xin Zhao is here.
Ayla could flash body slam if they really wanted to force the play, but it doesn't feel like diving is a necessary thing to do right now. The risk of your Xin Zhao dying in that dive could undo all of the good work he has done in the early stages of this game. He's actually only level 2. So while he has done good work keeping the Karthus down, Karthus has cleared extra camps. Because Xin Zhao is going for a base to the enemy jungle, and Karthus with his boots has been at least getting to camps a little bit faster, and now was looking towards Raptors. He may die again here.
It's going to be on this bubble. Power Star connects.
Yeah,
Swipe
he's got the
following
bubble.
through. Has the E.
Red buff's on.
We'll get one proc. Misses the Q. Won't get the stun for a while. Claire comes out with yet another Power Star, but that will be another kill onto Spook. Swiffer was actually trying to zone only away from the grab. Gets a nice bit of harass onto his opposing mid laner, but this
So
Karthus is
sad.
having a very bad day.
Just so sad.
0-3, both junglers level 3.
This is one of those stop but he's already dead moments. It's not even a jungler. Only's dealing with Kiana on the bottom side river, and the second they see Karthus doing Raptors, they go and deal with him. 2 people just take him down. Top laner, mid laner, with their lane priority, just kill him themselves. It goes from bad to worse for Spooks, because you can't even trade jungle camps if there's pressure being used by only on the other side of the map now.
This will be his first camp in a while. We'll finally get his level 4.
You know, I'd actually like to see something like the Hextech Gunblade purchased by Swiper, just because he is 201. I know you can snowball in the AD build. He's got press the attack for it as well. You can rush that Blade of the Ruin King. But there's something to me that, like, in terms of using the gold that you have earned to affect the rest of the map, that sounds more enticing with the Gunblade, because you still win lane with your life still start with the Cutlass, and then you can team fight with your ultimate, with the AP damage that comes from that as the first item. We'll see where he goes, though. I'd expect just full AD and like a Blade Rush.
Yeah, I imagine with the Berserker's Greaves, most likely just going to hard commit to this one, but we'll go back to base with a little gold in hand, and double longswords to me probably does.
It'll be
save
Cutlass
that.
regardless, right?
I mean, from there, theoretically, yes, you could pivot if you wanted to, so maybe still ambiguous, but you would expect going towards his AD. At the very least, you know, good for laning phase, but you want to go for the AD to trade off with the Gangplank, and then a pivot later is still not out, out of the question. As only it is on his way towards the top side of the map right here, still level 4.
Tally has overextended himself for the purpose of pushing the wave in. He knew the risks of pushing that one, but was able to disengage at the correct moment. Didn't try and get one last Q or one extra spell in there. So good disengage. Good awareness from the top laner of Order to know that he was not in a safe position and doesn't overexert himself. That reset, very valuable as well. It's the Sheen pickup. It's the spike timing for a Gangplank where laning phase just becomes a little bit easier for him.
What's only doing? Level 5 to the matching level 5 of Karthus. He's actually managed to get a little bit of time to farm now as the second wave of buffs is now spawning. With that level 5, he is moving towards the top side of the map. Goes through Crab Vision, which he knows is their own.
Clearing camps, it seems. He'll see that the Wolves and Gromp have both been cleared. Scuttlecrab is now topside in a minute, so he doesn't really want to stay up this side of the map for all too long unless the purpose is to dive. And you're about to see Claire clear the control ward that was called earlier by Only. In fact, he's going to run past the control ward to top lane. Threaten the dive, Raze.
Bot lane low, looking for the pull right here, and Dream cancels the aggro right there, tosses out the Q, will be a kill in return. Ayla now under threat from Spooks, who was ganking him through his own jungle, but Jake is tanking the tower. It will be a 2 versus 2, or 2 for 2, I should say. A double kill coming in for Ayla.
Ayla just absolutely clutches it on the bottom side of the map to get 2 kills. The trade response was there. Only now looking with Claire on top side. Big chunk onto Swift. Tally is already dead. And it doesn't seem like the trade was too unsuccessful for him as well. I look forward to seeing the replay of what happens on the top side, however. And Swift is just here to catch the remnants of the fight.
Yeah, that was being set up, though. Only was already there, and Claire was actually rotating from the mid lane.
He was ulting bottom Tally at the moment that Only went
yeah.
on him. You could see the ultimate used just there. Claire throws his W to Zimbabwe. doesn't quite find the GLP. And Swiper just says, I'll do it myself, lads. Goes in and does have to trade his life for it.
Yeah, so it will be a 1-for-1 on the top lane now, just mirroring the score lines. And in the mid lane, Swift walks back up to this one. Has gone for early mobility boots.
Yep.
Before the Tiamat.
Kiana is Talon in the way that you don't necessarily need to have a Tiamat to clear a wave. If you want to be around the map being much more effective on the Rift, then mobility boots make the most sense. If you're a mid lane Talon, you can't win your 1v1 at all, then you just go to a side lane. If you're Kiana in mid lane, your opponent has 2 exhaust because of a Spell Thieves. Is there really a point trying to force the 1v1 when your jungler's behind? Or is there more value in going bot lane where your Rakan is about to hit 6 or is 6 now and can hard engage, right? So I think that's the logic that Swiffer could very easily follow there. May even do what a lot of Kianas do now, and that's just go for the lethality, finish the Ghost Blade first as Swiper's low.
And Swiper's dead.
There you go.
Requiem. Yeah, it looks like Presence of Mind also being used there by Swigs. I just saw his ultimate just tick down. Yeah, feeling pretty good about that one.
Yeah, you can't complain if you're Spooks at this point. All of the pressure that has been placed onto him by Only never actually netted the jungle role a lead. It was towards Swiper, it's towards Claire still. But through all of that, you know, Karthus is now in a good position. Has kills, has a CS advantage, did exactly what he could, which was very limited, but did it. Yep, did it as best he could. And now things are working out for them, honestly, in terms of the fact that they're scaling. They are still getting gold. They are still getting items. It could have been a lot worse for them at this point. The only real risk is that Claire continues to snowball and genuinely pops off.
Yeah, with those first 2 kills, it's definitely one of those games that could get out of control. Bottom lane also a nice bit of zoning here as Ayla has pink wards of the brush. So making it quite difficult for Jake and Dream actually to step up. Now forcing them out of this one, just stepping up aggressively. And is able to clear that one up. 30 gold in the bank.
And fun fact for those of you at home as well, a lot of Gragas support players that run around on the Rift go Qmax. In competitive, it's primarily Emax. You want 5 points in it as fast as possible with CDR stacked. As you can see for Ayla right now, level 7, 4 points in the E. So his Q isn't doing a lot of damage. And really, it's just about gold generation at that point for him. Free 22 gold every time he hits a Q. If you're losing lane, you could put more points in Q to harass them down. Yep. If they have no sustain, you could put more points in Q to harass them down. But there's no real need when you've got a Kai'Sa and you're free farming. So go E, be useful in skirmishes instead. Yep.
Also 2, 1, and 0. Picked up a lot of that early gold here with the Chiefs. Top side, that was Herald going down to the Chiefs. That will be going over to Only. And that's Cloud Dragon in return here for Order.
Herald summoned. So is the trade worth it for Order is the question. Now, I don't think they were ever really going to be able to defend this tower if a third roam came from Claire and went towards the top side of the map. So Herald's just going to knock it down. Swiper now a little bit more unleashed onto Summoner's Rift with a good influx of money for them. Cloud Dragon was a good trade from Order, but unfortunately it shows their position on the map. So you can go straight from Herald, straight to top lane tower and break it.
And this is going to be at least second charge. Probably going to knock it down to about half here as some more attacks will get in there from Swiper. Swiffer rotating from the mid lane.
Something's fishy. Swiper feels it, but he is still actually here. And Boots of Mobility run very fast, so has to respect still at least a little bit.
Swiper's still getting a lot of damage onto this tower with the pressure exerted here by Claire and Only. Still able to push that tower up. Spooks is going to spot the fact his walls aren't there, and now also spot the Xin Zhao and Claire, who their paddle star always connects onto the Karthus, and given how squishy the Karthus is, would have been approximately 40% of his HP bar.
Skimmed is behind, hit the cape. And hopefully he didn't have some butt cups on. It would have connected then.
It would, yeah, it would have been too big.
God, those ads. I'll never understand why they exist.
I mean, clearly very targeted, right? Like I could
they're the least targeted
I could see you purchasing any of those things.
To make other people wear them, absolutely.
Uh-oh. That may have been a fatal portal jump as the Wall of Pain comes through and forces a flash there from Claire and also the exhaust.
Yeah, all of his summoners used the Spell Thief ignited as well as he was looking for it. Good bait from Order. One of those compulsive things that Zoes have when they hit the Spell Thieves on a minion, the balloon dies. They feel like, well, this is a great opportunity to pick up a third summoner spell. I win every trade with 3 summoner spells. And then the jungler appears, and that's just not the case.
Bot lane Kai'Sa. versus the Zaya, pushing in once again. Has the Essence Reaver completed on the side of Dream?
Both just farming up a Storm, really. The Manamune build as well from Raze as the engage is on.
Ayla initiates, gets Charm knocked up, and here comes Swiffer. Buying some time, here comes the Requiem, but we'll hit him once he gets out of that one. Swiper flashes immediately towards his tower, and Tally, wrong place to teleport. And he'll drop immediately. Kill going over to the Chiefs. Jake
Still
looking
looking.
for the knockup. The Swiper keeps walking forwards, doesn't have the ultimate, and is taken down from the Ignite, knows he's on borrowed time.
Oh,
Gets the Triumph proc and survives this one. Only now chasing down onto Jake. Not looking for the dive, however, but the Feathers not doing the damage either. And I cannot believe Swiper survived that one.
The skin of his teeth is just there to survive. They not only get the trade, but he gets in 3 auto attacks to heal. Spook's now here, is only hunting again.
He hops the wall, immediately sees Spooks, but he's got the ultimate running. He's not going to take that damage. Raze drops though, and Ayla now walking away, but not much further. That'll be yet another kill. And Order get a nice little turnaround at the end.
Yeah, it's good for Order, realistically. More kills going onto the Karthus is something that you'll always welcome. And that's one of those trades where Chiefs just overreach themselves a little bit too much, feeling confident about themselves. They try to mechanics max their opponents, and they don't quite get the kills. But remember that during this time, meanwhile, in mid lane, turrets are still being connected. And Chiefs still, that extra step ahead of their opponents in the map.
Still staying ahead. A lot of that gold in the mid lane, about 1,000 gold. Bottom lane, the same.
Yeah, none of it top anymore.
Support as well. Yeah, none of it top.
That was a 2-0 start, is now just a lead for the mid laner of Chiefs pretty much in general. 900 gold, you take that, but that's just from the kills that have now started to steadily go over towards the hands of Raze. He is also one of the best players at kill securing. Like, there could be 20 people on his team, but he would still end up with the lion's share of the kills. He's just very good at timing his last hits on champions.
All top lane. Here comes Jake and Swiffer.
Oh,
Got a flash for this one. Gets to knock up the root, but Swiper's still alive. He's putting a lot of damage down onto Jake. Here comes Spooks as well. The 3-man collapse finally onto the top lane. Will put down a cannon.
yeah, eventually he was going to fall. Nice little Q there from Swiffer, honestly, to go through the wall. Max ranges it, so they find the kill that they're after. 3 people have shown, however, on the top side of the map, and 2 are still there. Dream's cleared the wave, but Dream's life is still in danger here if Raze wants to go. No ult, though, for about 5 seconds. Lucky man, Dream.
Yeah, otherwise that would have 100% been a killer instinct popped. Bottom lane Tally found in this 1 versus 1 now against Claire.
Yeah, and it's just weird assignments, it feels like, overall.
Yeah, Claire's to, side lane.
Yeah, Claire's dealing with Tally in the 1v1, and if he is, that means that Chiefs want to be playing towards bot side. Dragon's up, so that makes sense. But then their top laner immediately dies, and what feels like against the flow kind of stems the play that the Chiefs were hunting towards. And I think just with the pace that Order were able to get that kill, very well done from them. Also slows down any macro from the Chiefs, which gives time to Order to set up. Because right now Swiffer seems to be setting up to clap Swiper.
Yeah, it looks like just sat in that brush.
We call this pawn a Claire.
quiet.
If you're in any way familiar with Claire since he was a pro player in like 2015, he's just very fond of sitting in a bush.
He's still waiting.
Swiffer has assumed that Swiper will go for the next wave, and he's correct. Swiper's a greedy boy.
However, Swiper,
Oh.
thinking about it, this is the biggest mind game.
Oh.
Now gonna spot him. Does he toss out the ultimate? Here's Jake as well. Gets the root, gets the knock up. Maelstrom hit. Doesn't want to get stunned underneath that tower. So in the end, Swiper will get away with it. So many mind games.
League of Legends is the thinking man's game. It's safe to say after a couple of set moments like that, you can like step into the brain of these players and understand what they're thinking. Swiper just wants one more wave, but he knows it's not safe. And you can see how tentatively he was moving towards the wave, and even moving towards it tentatively isn't necessarily always correct, right? Swiffer was just missing for so damn long that you can't afford to just pretend that like he's still there. Surely he's reset, as the game that gets played there back and forth. But at a certain point, there's method to the madness. There's no kills.
Yeah, only had to burn the ultimate, and that's pretty much it. Speaking of only, he's now in the bottom side jungle, taking away the big raptor. We'll catch up to this one.
Which I will say, the fact that he's gone for Jarum's Fist, a health item on the cannon, might have just saved his bacon there.
Yep, maybe. Definitely helped out.
Maybe
no
not
doubt.
this time, however, as he's next to a wall.
Well, he'll try. He's stunned, and here comes Tally. That's going to be plenty of damage, courtesy of those barrels. And Tally will get the kill.
And this is the game that Swiper really needs to wisen up to, right? They will continue to hunt him down. It's boots of mobility on this Kiana with a Ghost Blade. She's sprinting around the rift. He is not just weak-sided, but his teammates aren't making plays at the moments that he's dying. So they're not prepared to make a play, which means Swiper shouldn't be prepared to leave his turret.
Yep. Which means he's essentially going to die for nothing there, unfortunately, in that side lane. Picks up a Giant's Belt to join that fist. That will be Tally getting that tower down. And Claire also putting out the pressure top side. We'll be able to knock this one over. That's 350 gold over to him. And now 19 minutes into this game. This is still anybody's game. Yeah, this is very, very close.
Scarily close game here. Order doing very well to pull it back from that early game. You have to commend them for their efforts. Getting towards mid-game, team fight style composition. They've got the Medjais on Karthus as well, which, you know, if you manage to afford that item, it's quite cost efficient to sell, so it doesn't really matter now you've got it. And if he wins the team fight with it, well then, hallelujah for Order, right? He's just got all the AP in the world and snowballs the game.
Yeah, it was unfortunate because he purchased it just before the fight happened bot lane and then immediately died. So yeah, it was on 2 stacks. Now on 6. He's getting there. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, like level 11, 5, 4, and 1, considering the early game when he was level 2 when the solo lanes were level 4. You know, definitely a bit of a recovery there. Battleland's signature, significantly better than Roller's.
Roller's signature is... He's a specimen, isn't he?
I've just never seen it in-game before. Swiffer hopping the wall right there as Chiefs were just invading in. And yeah, now that Baron's up, complete control over this area. Chiefs have just walked in as a unit and placed down a bunch of vision. And it's going to be quite difficult to clear out now.
It sounded a lot like a Karthus was ulting, but I think he was just at the bottom of our screen screaming.
Yeah, he was just having a good time.
As Karthus is wont to do. Nevertheless, Order can regain some control of the river now. Swiper will be threatening the bot lane outer turret, which is the game plan here for Chiefs. Use that AD cannon, win the game, and then just make life so hard for your opponents to get anything done. And the thing that I actually think is worth bringing up at this point is we'll have to hold that thought. Only is caught out.
Yeah, Jake has found him, but the rest of the team does not really want in here from Order. Sinzal jumps towards the Gragas to his rescue, but that'll be the shutdown. Claire just dies in the mid lane, and now Chiefs are on the run. Great pick coming in there from Order, and that was a shutdown.
Nobody in Karthus ult range, so there's no point in throwing it just yet. Jake with no ultimate, no HP, but still has the flash to outplay. And Kiana still has the ultimate. That is a big thing that you're going to have to look towards. And Swiper's teleporting to the players on here, and I think Order want to turn anyway.
Yeah, Baron down to about 60% HP in Swiper. He's found Swiffer. Good stun out there, flashes away, not in range. And
Baron might be
somehow
done.
Survives.
2000.
2K. Can he get into the pit? Wall of Pain is really good right now. Jumps over the wall. And that will be the secure by Spooks. Kill into the pit. And now Chiefs about to get run down. Swiffer comes back in from the mid lane. Trades his life with the top laner. Ray's getting chased out here as well. And this will be Chiefs at a huge loss. 4 for 2 and Baron to Order.
And you can see Order out of their chairs as well. Massive team fight victory for the boys from Melbourne. They get the Baron, they get the kills as well. And a bit of a disaster there, honestly, for Chiefs. Their decision-making couldn't get themselves to the pit in time. They didn't win the Smite battle. And now Order poised to get a real meaningful gold lead in this game.
Disastrous stuff. Only does make it into the pit, but literally as the Baron is dying.
And the thing is, it's like, a lot of this is actually mechanical as well. You know, he does get into the pit, so that was the 50-50, and that's a true 50-50. But the teleport from Swiper finds himself the Kiana. 10 HP, doesn't get it, wastes his flash and doesn't do anything with it. Kiana then comes in to help clean up. You know, that's one of the many things that happen through a fight like that that can make the difference. And staying alive, such a big deal for having the numbers advantage to play the map. Play the fights.
Yeah, Order in a pretty great situation now. And there's obviously not a massive goal differential, but the fact that we're now 23 minutes in and Order have priority over the map, which is honestly against Chiefs not a sentence you say very often, to be honest. Chiefs are never really down ever. And they're usually the ones picking up the Baron and about to just siege and end.
Yeah.
So this is just a big deal in itself here.
I mean, so much of this as well seems to be like Claire gets caught, Order suddenly in control, right? Like, you're playing Zoe, you're fed. You are the strong member in this team. You are where the Xin put all of his focus towards at the early stages of this game. And then you just die in mid lane trying to help your team. I think there's a moment where you can say, I need to be a little bit more selfish here. It's more important that I'm alive for these fights so that they can't even walk to the Baron safely. because that is your purpose, right? And then now Kennen is teleported. Now Kennen with an AD build doesn't have teleport and is stuck in a side lane. Not the best circumstances for Chiefs to find themselves in, but I will say that with the Baron secured and with the inner turrets likely to fall, the gold lead doesn't really stretch above 4,000 gold unless Chiefs make another mistake or to do something fantastic to blow the game open.
Yeah. And it will kind of hover around this point for a bit. We'll see how much work they can do onto this bottom main tower. With that wall of pain and the ultimate from Tally, surprisingly a lot here with only a couple minions flooding into the base now. Moving on to the inhibitor. That combination of abilities was just, you could not get through the slow field. That being said, Chiefs are setting up for a potential fight right here, only coming over that flank, but it was pre-watered out by Order. And cracking open the base, bot lane tower as well. Very nice work on that Baron power play.
Yeah, no longer just the inner turrets that are going to fall. Order choose a lane, they stick to their guns, and they use exactly those as well with their Gangplank ultimate. And that wall of pain, like you mentioned, they just zone Chiefs away. Chiefs don't have the best engage tools realistically as well. They're very much more equipped to disengage, to play the map more, and to try and find picks, if anything. They don't get those, and so they just lose an inhibitor, and suddenly Order, with the Baron buff still in their pockets, a little bit of time left on it, in the driver's seat with an inhib down, and that's the perfect inhib for Baron control.
And you were right, you know, didn't stretch past necessarily like, you know, 3,000 or 4,000 gold, but the fact that you're knocking down an inhibitor off of the first Baron is really, really big here. And now aggressive vision being placed in the jungle of the Chiefs. See Kiana in the side lane, Gangplank in the mid lane, and actually Spooks just farming up his jungle.
It's the AP Kai'Sa build as well, so between Zoe and Kai'Sa, mostly magic damage.
Getting caught out in the jungle. Double charm, double knockup. Swiffer coming in as well, looking for that ultimate. Ayla getting chased out here, and there it is. Double starting to raise as well, top side. Here comes the Requiem, but I think the damage is already done. 3 kills to Order.
They may have just done it here as well. Only 3 dead, but it's an AD Kennen and a Xin Zhao left standing. At the very least, this will be 2 inhibitors for Order.
And Claire looking a little bit exasperated, honestly, on the player cam there, getting caught out in the jungle. And this will be the second inhibitors you just mentioned, Rusty, going down. Order now pushing up, seeing they can find themselves a Nexus turret as well. There's the Gangplank ultimate once again. Maybe Wall of Pain to follow. This is the first Nexus turret. 10 seconds left on Claire.
Choice.
10 seconds left on Raze. Only jumps in. He has to fight this one. Here comes Swiper. Big Maelstrom. Jake will go down to that final tower shot. And Order are forced to back away.
Yeah, it looks like they're just going to have to disengage here at max speed. There's a chance that at any moment Order could turn. So Chiefs cannot overreach. They cannot overchase their opponents. Now with 2 inhibitors down and a minute till Baron. The timing on that death couldn't be better for Jake. He'll be able to reset, get onto the Rift, and control wards with his team. The only risk is that right now, in the next 30 seconds where Jake has been dead and is walking towards the lane, Chiefs get vision control and make a pick. From that point, if they don't, honestly, Order can just play the map out, control the whole map, and win the game.
And that triple kill is an injection of gold there for Swiffer. Huge deal. Just goes back to base. Now, yeah, pretty much caught up to Claire, to be honest, in gold. And when there's a difference of 70 CS in the mid lane, that's massive. Yeah, jungle difference. Remember, this, I don't think anyone remembers the early game for Karthus anymore when there's a 3,000 gold lead in the jungle.
And you know, in a solo queue game, early game is very unrecoverable. You know, you die once in jungle, you die a second time from solo laners, you just boomed. Oh, this could hurt, but they all protect. That's an entire army just stands in front of Spooks.
Have to, really.
That bubble still actually kind of chunks Spooks a little bit there. He doesn't have a Zonias either. It is a Death Cap and a Medjai's with his Oblivion Orb. That is a fragile Karthus. And I feel like he kind of just, his purpose is to die.
With Medjai's.
With Medjai's.
Still, top lane tower goes down pretty much without a thought there. Pressuring his final inhibitor tower up against the Chiefs. Goes in for the immediate engage. Gets a knock on, and Claire's dead once again. Only just back on towards that front line. Takes down Swiffer. Both mid laners dead now. Swiper teleports into the top side for the defense. And Order still sticking around.
Swiffer dies with Flash and his ultimate up, unfortunately. Just very good CC layering from the side of the Chiefs. They make it a 1-for-1. But it's a 1-for-1 with 2 inhibitors down and Baron alive, with no vision control available for the Chiefs. And so realistically, that 1-for-1's just worth it. You take that 100 times over if what it grants you is a free Baron. But we'll see how the Chiefs respond to this. There's only 3 people hitting it. Ayla sprinting his way through the jungle.
3 people hitting it and no real tank here as well. So these will be low health bars as Chiefs come in. But that wall of pain combined with Tally over the wall is really obnoxious.
The health only has
with the flash down to 2,500. DPS has stopped.
You want a Gragas
No
combo
vision.
with the Xin Zhao if you can.
Q finishes down to 1.5k. It's secured by Dream, and they take the jungle as well. A little close for comfort, but Order get themselves a second Baron.
It may not be Spooks that secures the Baron. It was Spooks that used his smite as well as only, but you've got the Baron. You take that as a win. You chalk it up as a victory. Just say thank you to Dream after the game for securing that one.
Lady Luck is smiling.
Yeah, that may be the Baron that wins you the game.
29 minutes in, and this is a team poised to strike and potentially finish off this one. Remember, Chiefs are locked first, but Order, if they pick up this win against Chiefs, is a huge deal for this team to try and make Gauntlet.
Winning this game here puts them in a position where the fight with with Avad is basically just a one-game match between who makes it and who doesn't. Head-to-head, a very big deal when they play each other for the 3rd time.
Yeah, it's going to be a scary match for all involved.
Bryce is casting, I'm telling you right now.
Yep.
Bryce is casting, myself and Spotter in different rooms.
Oh man, looking forward to that one. But still, we've got a game to finish up here with Order and Chiefs. Swiffer backing away as he sees the oncoming storm. Spooks in the side lane setting this one up as well for the team. Order pretty much just doing the dirty work, clearing out the vision, placing down their own raise, transitioning towards this mid lane. Baron Buff still on this team for a little bit longer. Wave about to crash top lane. Inhibitors respawn in the bottom lane, about to respawn in the mid.
All it really takes is that final plunge here from Order, that last lane remaining. Their lane assignments are currently Swiffer with Ignite, dealing with the Cannon, however, so he's not going to be joining the team fights. And to me, that seems like they're confident he can 1v1 and that they can 4v4 take this.
Only goes in, pops the ultimate, knows he's invulnerable for a little while, and he's able to zone, but
that's just
Order would
turret.
just walk back up to the turret and take it down. Yeah, indeed. Bottom lane, Swiffer, 1 versus 1,
Oh,
flash away!
Swiper!
And Swiper will get the solo kill in the bottom lane. Claire comes in, gets half held by the Requiem, and that is just a zoning ult if I've ever seen one. Sends everybody back to base. And bottom lane, yes, that was a 1-for-1 in the end with the Requiem coming through. Mid lane, top lane to mid lane to bottom lane. Chiefs, can they keep this last inhibitor alive? Feels like they really need to. Those supers will become the 6th member. Jake just gets assassinated. Boots pushes forward into the base. Raised low, taken out by Talon. He's just running amok right now in the back line. Ayla trying to make it back to base. Gets hit by the parlay. And Tani trying to finish up this game. 4 kills, 5 kills. That's the ace. And Order have done it. They pull up the upset and take down the Chiefs.
One step closer for Order here, making the run once again. Order and Gauntlet seems like an inescapable fate for the OPL. They managed to upset the MEO representatives already in the Chiefs, the 1st place team. And no matter how many outplays that Swiper can get onto Swiffer, all of those trades, all those 1-for-1s are worth it. At the end of the day, Order very happy with this win in the 2nd game of the day today.
Oh wow, pulling it out when it really matters. Order getting themselves a win. I mean, when you drop a game against Mammoth in the same day as the 2nd game, and then you follow up with a win against Chiefs, like, you know, it's sometimes it's just one of those teams which is able to do it, you know? Like, I feel like...
They've always been one of those teams as well as the weirdest part.
You know? Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have those players, you have people with veteran knowledge, and sometimes that's the X factor that you need. And, you know, it's one of those few teams that's able to do something like that. But, yeah, congratulations to Order. Big win today.
Yeah, and it's one of those moments where you could jokingly say it's about hunger and they wanted it more.
Sure.
But I definitely have a feeling that it's about hunger and that Order wanted it more because Chiefs were already locked. So, you know, win's a win. You take those if you're Chiefs. But at the end of the day, Order the ones who come up trumps and they're able to best them. And there was still, like, there was a lot shown by Chiefs in the way that they could play the early game. There was still a lot of good things that they'd be taking away from the game. It was about transitioning the leads into something more meaningful on the map. Because at a certain point, and we highlighted it from the moment draft ended, it's like, Chiefs are going to win level 1. They've just picked Xin Zhao. They're going to go into your jungle. They're going to hit you up a few times, and you're going to really hate your life if you're the Order jungler. But they didn't stop the Sheen spike gangplank. They didn't stop the mid lane level 6 spikes, and Karthus just presses R and he's back in the game.
I mean, it was one of those rare instances of Chiefs not being able to close out an early game lead, you know? Gets that early game lead, basically shuts Karthus out of the game, and then it's still a win for Order. So impressive stuff in the end. And yeah, once again, a very much needed victory for Order. For now, we are going to send it over to Nick Boy with the interview.
A well-needed victory indeed. Are you doing it? Are you doing it again?
You'll have to excuse my voice, but I'm a little bit sick. But yeah, we're doing it. We're bringing it back.
That was, I mean, look, that was the game of the day, for sure. I mean, talk us through it, because that was kind of do or die for you guys at that point. What was the mentality heading into the room?
Honestly, it was like everyone was just talking about how they were going to communicate for me because I couldn't speak.
Which is such a huge hindrance.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think I'm normally the main communicator on our team.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said to Simon, I said, you have to speak for me because I can't say what I want to say, obviously.
And you got that like brother mind meld
Yeah.
where he just knew what was going on.
Yeah, he did. I knew what was going on when he was getting outplayed by Swiper Bolt. That's why I ulted. But yeah, no, I think, honestly, I was very nervous. Like, I don't think I've been that nervous since like 2016.
Yep.
Like, I was like shaking, like going into the game. But I don't know. I'm just really like happy, I guess.
The Magi's purchase was probably the most controversial thing that's happened in the building today.
Yeah.
There was lots of discussion upstairs. Justify yourself.
I feel like if you're gonna look in card this, like you need big balls. So like you may as well just commit to it, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that
fair.
acceptable for broadcast? I don't know.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, no one could understand what you were saying.
Sorry.
I need you to lose the next game because Jake is insufferable right now. I don't know if you heard him from 2 floors down, but we certainly did sing next to him. He's very proud of you. He's over there wiping the tears away. I mean, the rest of the team must be stoked. Now you need to gird yourselves heading into tomorrow, but there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. Shit. I don't know. Yeah. No, I mean, Jake's he's the dad. He's the team dad. So he's watching his proud son go to war, I guess. And you know, he's done a lot of work, and he's been under. Well, we've all been under a lot of stress, but him particularly. So kind of it feels nice to be able to like pay him back for that. And so I think everyone's kind of going to be happy, obviously. So.
Well, I think there's a lot of happy people out there watching right now. Order up. They could be doing it again. We'll be back after this.
Now invading once again, literally just saw him bottom side, hits the blast cone, this time mid lane was there, but put to sleep by Claire. And only just keeping up the pressure, walks back in towards this, still level 2, dodging out the lane, waste flash, audacious charge, looking for this knock-up, manages to find it, has the red buff still running, one more attack will do it, secures the kill, only smites the grunt for HP, buying some time, Swiffer locked underneath the tower, and finished off, double kill for Swiper.
And they're not on the right side of the rift here, the Chiefs, but they've got a Spell Thief's Ignite. They're looking for Tally as well. Spooks now here is only hunting again.
He hops the wall, immediately sees Spooks, but he's got the ultimate running. He's not going to take that damage. Raze drops though, and Ayla now walking away, but not much further. That'll be yet another kill.
2,000.
2K. Can he get into the pit? Wall of Pain is really good right now. Jumps over the wall, and that will be the secure by Spooks. Kill into the pit, and now Chiefs about to get run down. Swiffer comes back in from the mid lane, trades his life with the top laner. Ray's getting chased out here as well, and this will be Chiefs at a huge loss. 4 for 2, and Baron to order. Really need to. Those supers will become the 6th member. Jake just gets assassinated. Spooks pushes forward into that base. Raised low, taken out by Talon. He's just running amok right now in the back line. Ayla trying to make it back to base, gets hit by the parlay. And Tani trying to finish up this game. 4 kills, 5 kills, that's the 8. And Order have done it. They pull up the upset and take down the Chiefs.
One step closer for Order here, making the run once again.
A little goes a long way at Macca's. Enjoy a delicious small cheeseburger meal with your choice of an apple or raspberry and custard pie for just $4.
Congratulations to Order. I mean, that's one of those victories that you can't